Okay, it is 10 o'clock. It's Lancaster Woodturners coffee hour. Isn't it 10 o'clock? Am I wrong?
Yes, it's 10.
Okay. To number 270, 276 for October the 23rd, 2025. My name's John Kelsey. I'll be your moderator today. Um, I can see 38 on screen. It'll tick up to 50 before we get out of here at 11. This is a show and tell morning, unless nobody has stuff. If that's the case, I happen to have a 16-minute video I posted last week about drawing for wood turning. I wonder if any of you guys have seen it. Any waves there? I see a few have. Do you think I should show it here, or should I just let them all go and find it on my channel?
We can show it here. I think it'd be great. Good discussion.
Well, we'll see. We'll see where the morning goes. Club news, I don't have any, and Ziegler isn't here, so I don't know if there's any. I can't remember. Lancaster's next meeting would be November the 4th, and that'll be Tom Wenzel with his Christmas tree method. He's made a few thousand of those, and general discussion of Christmas ornaments and elections for 2 officer positions for next year. Or no, nominations. Elections are December, I think. Any other club news we want to do? I'm looking around the gallery view looking for you all.
We just have, this is Nittany Valley Woodturners. We just have our regular club meeting. It's first Wednesday, so it's the 5th, I think, of November coming up. It's
Nice.
6 to 9, and well, 7 to 9, but we have a social.
Who's
here
that?
here in Edmonton, we've got a Learn to Turn session that Diane's coordinated, and I think that's on Wednesday. And so let her speak to that one.
Well, I think so far we have 2 people for sure signed up, and I'm going to send another email out, and I'm hoping we'll get 5 or 6 people, and it should be a lot of fun.
It's going to be fun, even if only 2 show up. That's the thing. It's always fun. And
well, I have a couple of people in the wings who are.
Can you see this picture?
Yes.
Good. This is a Manitoba maple Manitoba spalted maple bowl. And as I usually do, I went through the bottom. So I had a epoxy acrylic coaster made, and I just put a tenon on it, sized the hole, put the coaster in the hole, smoothed it out, and it came out great. And somebody actually bought it.
It looks nice. Now, what is that in the middle?
It's a epoxy resin coaster that I made.
Okay.
Probably has alcohol ink in it with a pattern I just scribbled. And I just put a tenon on it, and so I could slip it in the hole, and it had the tenon secured it from the rear, and then the tenon was small enough so that it smoothed out on the inside. It was nice and smooth in the junction with the wood.
So you implied that you go through the bottom a lot. What's that all about?
I'm too aggressive sometimes.
Is that from being impatient, or exactly what? Let's talk about that for a minute. That's because I hear this a lot.
Well, sometimes I try to make these objects too thin, and I go through. I've tried drilling a hole in the middle so that it could gauge my depth, but sometimes I just go below that.
Yeah.
Now,
I know how it goes.
fewer times lately than previously, but just the other day I just ruined a nice piece of Russian olive because I went to it too thin, and on the corners
How do you mount your bowls?
What do you mean? With a tenon on the back.
So
you usually end up going through it right around the rim of where the tenon is, oftentimes.
So you can't reach that with your fingers to gauge the thickness. So do you use a gauge of some kind, or are you guessing?
Well, no, I can reach that with my fingers pretty closely. I just, sometimes I think I'm okay and I'm not.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just one little bit of tear out to chase.
That's right.
And
And oh, let me just finish this. Let me just smooth this out. Boom.
yeah,
David, I think it's an excellent opportunity for creativity. I think sometime we should have a show where only show and tell is all the rescues of the holes that we made through the bottom. I was looking at some of my photos last night, and boy, I had a ton of those. And I thought they turned out pretty nice later.
Mhm.
This
Well,
is a
Jim is
nice.
the master of funnels.
I'm soon going to wear that as a badge of honor. So,
well, this one here is a pretty nice bowl, that's for sure. So there's a
yep.
good save. Nice work, David. You got any more slides?
Uh, no, I showed some a few weeks ago. I
Okay,
have some new ones coming up, but I'll wait for that. Thank you much.
You
okay,
didn't
thank
have a
you.
picture of the bottom of that, did you?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Going to kill your share. Okay, Bowman, let's go to you. We gave you the short sheet last week.
Hey, no problem. Short sheets are an old trick. So, yeah, I want to share. Jim Duxbury showed us a two axis turning where the axes were across the center by a distance. I do a lot of twisted turning. I find that fascinating, but I've never done it like Jim did. And so I said, okay. And what I want to show you is, okay, I got to share here. I got to share this. Share. I practiced for an hour last night because I got sick and tired of not being able to show my imagery. I'm assuming you guys can see this.
Perfectly.
Okay. And I have arrow keys at work because I have the participants down the side. Okay, this was my second attempt, and this was very funneled. Um, I tried a couple things, and maybe Jim had it on his, and I forgot what it was. I tried after I turned the two axis one. I tried to cut beads in it and coves. You don't see the beads because I broke the top off of this. Uh, this uh, this is the top I put on in case you don't recognize the green. That's Osage orange. It's
No, that's,
walnut purple heart.
that's a
Old oak.
nice save.
Yeah, and I've been playing with. Let me see who got me started on. Was it Don? Don did iridescent paint. What fun! I never realized that they have a second sheen. It's called a color shift. That's supposedly brown, but the color shift comes out as kind of copper. I'm having a lot of fun with. I'm working on a couple projects right now.
Do
Just
you have to put some kind of top coat on those, or do they make a finished surface?
I do not put the top coat on because I think I experiment. I think it ruins the effect of the iridescence.
So
Um,
do you apply them after you finish the rest of the piece or before?
I apply them. Okay, this is oil. Let me see if I remember the sequence. This is walnut oil, which is my typical finish.
Yeah.
I make sure the oil does. I painted it first because then I can clean the wood off if I have to. But then I oil it and I make sure the oil doesn't hang on to the paint either.
Okay.
Just some fun here. Now, the week Jim showed us that, I said, I'm going to do one, but make it twisted. And maybe, Jim, if it was twisted, yours, then I've forgotten. This is the same one. It's one side and the other side. So I like the other one better, and then I did some of the burning around the center. Top just shows a little bit of the oval, and I had to put a bottom on this one because it wasn't balanced right. Now I want to go back and show you one thing. You know why I have a plug there? I don't know how you guys do it, but I needed weight in the bottom of this. I use a 6-inch test tube. And so that leaves me this is about 6 inches to the cove. And so I fill the rest, I drill it all the way through and I fill the rest with lead shot and then I put a cap on the end with CA glue, and it really helps the balance. So
Nice engineering. Nice piece.
yeah, this one turned out surprisingly well. I had to think about it for a couple days as I keep smashing things with it. But so,
More from you?
quick question for you guys. Where'd I get that brown on the Osage orange? It's not a burn, I don't think. Is that what it shows when I bruise the wood? You see where I mean, right here. I could see.
We're not seeing your arrow, but oh, there. That could be in the wood.
It's just oxidizing. It'll all be darker than that in a while, Jim.
Yep.
Oh, I know, and that's partly why I chose to put this on top. So the fun will be while the yellow's there, but then it's going to become brown like the rest of it. I don't know how soon, but we'll see. So that's my goodies. So
Good on you. Okay, thank you very much. Any more questions for Jim? Okay, thanks a lot. I'm going to jump to Duxbury because he's always so entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't always get him here. What do you got?
I forgot what I've shown last, believe me. A lot of people turn loose rings. They're usually brown. And I found square loose rings add something to some things. Like this is a bottle stopper with a square loose ring. It's just different.
Jim, what do you use? What tool do you use to free that ring from the?
I just happened to know you were going to ask that.
Oh, okay.
This is a 1/2 inch by 1/16, just M2 steel.
Okay. Hold it up and hold it still. Just hold it still.
And I cut.
Got it.
I cut a groove in. So also, this is not a 90-degree on here. This is slightly cut back on here so that you can go in and undercut that ring.
There you got blobs right from around.
Without touching the spindle underneath it.
Now, what did you go in there with? A Dremel or something, or edge of a wheel?
This is a Dremel with the that black metal cutting disc.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that works. I cut up all kinds of stuff with that. In fact, we were talking about oval or round skews the other day, or this morning before you got here. I buy Harbor Freight drill bits. I drill a hole in the handle with the drill bit, and then cement it in and sharpen the other end. So you can make them out of all different sizes. Okay.
That's a great move. That's a great move.
Jim,
Anyway,
I've got a question.
yeah.
Do you use a left one and a right one for your wings or rings, or do you just cut through from one side?
A square edge will cut. This is square on both sides. So
Okay.
it'll cut from the top and the bottom. Yeah. I can come in from this side, or I can roll it over and come in from the other side.
Okay, so the tool needs to hang a little bit then to make the square edge cut?
It
Is
is
that right?
slightly negative. Yeah, it's slightly cocked. Yes. You're cutting right on that square edge.
Okay.
You're not cutting on the square edge nearest the handle, though. You're not cutting out on the other side of the
No,
key.
not at all. No,
that has to be bigger than the ring. You can't have that cutting.
On the other side like this.
Yeah, with a gap. Because if you catch that on there, it'll all blow up in your face.
Yeah, and that's why it's made bigger. And that's also rounded.
Yeah, you can't have no edge in there.
This back is rounded. The back of this is rounded. The edge of this is rounded. I don't cut with this, and I don't cut with this. This is rounded, and this is rounded.
So where exactly is the only part cutting? Point to that with something. So we
The
just
only
everybody's
part cutting is the end of here.
Yep.
And this part here.
Right. And that's finishing the inside of the ring as it cuts in.
Yes.
And then you can clean up the shaft where the ring was once the ring is free.
Once you shape the ring on any of these things, once you shape that ring, before you cut it loose, sand the whole thing, do your burning, whatever you're going to do.
Yeah.
Then when you cut it, then when you cut underneath, you cut this out. When you cut underneath, clean this up, slide this over to the side.
Hold it up a bit higher.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tape some sandpaper on here, slide this back, and you can sand the inside of the ring.
Yep.
Same thing with a round ring. You can tip it, and you can actually sand both sides. And oh, that saved me 100 hours. I'll tell you when I learned that. That was
Yeah, I know that one.
that was like oh.
Okay, thank you.
The other thing is I forgot. Did I show peppermill?
Yeah, yeah, we did. That
Oh.
was very interesting.
That was the one that got me going on the off-center turning.
Well, the only thing I'll show you my latest one. The only thing that I didn't show this one, I don't think.
No.
I just made this one. I don't think I did. But anyway, this you got a stripe down the middle here,
Yes.
which is worthless. You put the stripe down the edge. You put the two pieces together. That defines your edge when you're turning it.
Yeah, but it also means you got to hit it right on.
Definitely, yes. But you can see that edge when you're turning it. That's your point. That's why all of my offset pieces have a piece set in the middle. It looks like trim, but actually that's your reference point. You turn this side up to the edge of that, and then you turn this side up to the edge of this. Thank you.
I think in Bowman's method, though, you don't have to. You can just turn it to wherever it lands.
That's right, but you don't. But you might. This is an offset, a 2-center box.
Yeah.
But by having that trim, you can tell exactly where the center is. Otherwise, you can form a center that's off a little bit, and you don't realize it.
And
Well, I can see it off in the rings just a little bit, and it doesn't matter. It looks fine.
Well, no, it's got to be perfect.
well, I like that idea better than just the single stripe up the middle. It leaves a little room for human error.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know how much more we got, but I talked about cutting things. I'm making a stool, and there's nothing more boring than a stool with a white top. So I put a trim strip in the middle. This is about 1.25 inches, I think, thick. But I didn't have a piece 10 inches in diameter. So by putting trim strips in, and even putting a small piece on the end, you can get away with much less wood. And then the legs, you could turn 3 maple legs, and that'd be great. But by turning the legs, here again, I take 2 pieces that are a maple and a cherry.
Hold it up higher. Let's see the end. Okay.
Glue them together, then cut them corner to corner and take this side and glue it onto this side, and I get stripes.
Yeah.
The best part of that is when you make 3 of them, you get it right. When you make 3 of them, all 3 match perfectly, the stripes.
Okay. So how do the legs come out?
What?
How do the legs come out?
Well, I got to turn them.
Oh, you haven't done that part yet.
No, I'm showing you this part. Actually, I was supposed to demo in Alabama, and the guy got sick. But this was good. It's totally uneventful to turn straight white legs, and if you glue a piece of cherry to a piece of maple, then you got a maple side and a cherry side. By making them striped, it's interesting.
For sure.
And then you got to arrange them right when you glue them in, right? So that they make a right appearance.
Yeah. And one of the real interesting parts is once you get it glued in, everybody on this earth will tell you that leg's crooked. you might as well keep a framing square around because everybody will tell you that leg's crooked.
Well, you
And
can
they're all,
you can eliminate that by putting a dog foot on one end. Turn it with a dog foot on one end, and then that problem goes away.
a dog foot. I didn't.
Yeah. That's off center turning, putting a dog foot on it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you can do that too. Yeah.
A little,
Anyway.
a little like golf club sort of a thingy down there.
Yeah, yeah.
But then you got to make sure you glue it in right.
That's is that cambrio leg kind of.
No, well, that's
Kinda, yeah.
kind of, sort of, but not really.
Okay.
Yeah, they call it a dog foot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jim, you
Well,
need to
anyway.
turn that. You need to turn that as an off-center twisted turning.
Never
That's
mind.
really up the ante. Come on, let's go for it. So,
Never mind. But anyway, all three will match, hopefully, when I'm done.
All right.
That's it for me.
Hey, it's good to hear from you. I thought I'd hold this one up for a minute since you were showing that thing. It reminded me of this, which is sitting on my table. This is 3 ounces of heavy magnets, rings, and then there's ring magnets below here, and it's just a disc. So it bounces around, and it's just a toy I made to play with. And the amount of force you have to put to get these magnets to touch together is really considerable. And when you let fly, it throws this 3 ounces all the way up there. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of potential energy in these things, or whatever it is.
wait a minute, John. You're telling me that's all magnets. It's not a spring.
All magnets.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're not connected together. They're washers.
They're like washers. Yeah, these are one size. These are a little bit bigger. These are 1.125 in diameter. These are 1.25 inches. They're quite expensive, these ring magnets, and they're also quite fragile. If you let them bang together, they smash pretty fast. But this way, they don't touch anything but themselves. So I think it's a cool toy.
Well, it's the top magnets too. What do they do?
This up here? Oh,
No,
these are just repelling against this one down here, and they're the mass that gets moved invisibly by the magnetic pressure. And it also shows, that wood and air, magnet doesn't care. The wood does not, moving the wood around doesn't seem to affect the magnetic field at all. So there you go.
That is a great grandkid.
There's
toy.
no discs or no magnets in the disc in the middle.
The disc is just a blank disc of wood, and it's a little bit of a loose fit. Yeah. And that was the reason I made this. Frankly, I was going to I did my demo a couple weeks ago, and I was cleaning up the shop, and I had these magnets, and I had some of these rings that I had smashed, and they're really, you see what it's like inside these. The coating is very hard, and inside it's kind of a friable material that's very jagged and rough and fragile. So you don't want to let them smash together because they will crumble quickly. And so I'm trying to figure out, what am I going to do with these magnets so they don't get, they stick to anything steel, so you can't have them just floating around your drawing board. So I started to, and I remember when I was a kid, I had, the old ferrite magnets. I had 3 or 4 of them that I could float up and down on a pencil, and I started to play with these that way. And then I couldn't get these apart. These are so strong, I cannot break these apart. I'd have to make a fairly large wooden knife and a holder to get these to separate. So I figured, okay, let's just put them all on a stick and see what it looks like, and here's what we got. So there you go.
And I got a similar thing. This is just a fun thing that drives you nuts.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I'll show you a Christmas magnet toy next week that I made a few years ago that most of you haven't seen.
Hey,
Or
John.
next month. Yeah.
Those washers, they come with the holes already in them?
Oh, yeah. You buy them that way. You buy them that way. You can't bore this stuff. No. You can't do anything to it. You can't sand it. It's what it is. But they come as a washer, and they have a lot of sizes. The companies that specialize in this have dozens of sizes, and despite international politics, the prices haven't gone up yet. But on the other hand, just in case, I did buy 200 of the sizes I most commonly use the other day, just in case. Well, I can use 16 of them in a box. It doesn't take long to go through 100 magnets.
But I'm talking about these circle. These are magnetic rings. Is that
yes,
what
they are. Yeah, they're discs. They're Oh, I guess they sell them as rings. That is what they sell them as, and they sell them by thickness and diameter, and a hole thickness in the middle. And there's a couple of pages of them on their on the K&J Magnetics website, which is where I buy these things. And they are expensive, but they're such a good toy. Who can resist? At least I can't.
So John, for separating that bundle, you don't
Yeah.
need a special jig. Just drill a hole the size of the ring and then slide just a half the thickness and slide them off. They'll slide off really easy. You
Yes.
can't pull them off, but if you slide them off, so your jig is just a hole in your bench and just slide them off.
You
I
can't
had
even
that
slide.
same problem.
You can't even slide these off. These are really
Well,
monsters.
take a piece of wood and just push them off. I had exactly the same
Yes.
thing. Inch and a quarter ones. I couldn't figure out how to do it, and finally that's what I ended up doing: drilling a hole and just pushing them off.
That's the
They're
only way
great.
that I
They're
know of.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
When my son and I were playing with these to see if we could make a floating soundboard for a musical instrument, we actually ended up making, I guess, a magnetic recoil cannon of some sort, because at some point the magnets just went flying across the room, and that's how I got the shattered ones. Okay, let's see. Mike Golka. I'm going to save you for a minute, Don. You're always always got something great. Mike, what would you like to show us?
Well, I've been playing on my CNC machine, and this is epoxy resin. So when I'm doing other resin projects, you always mix up extra because you don't want to be short.
Sure.
And I just pour them in a small container. This one has a ponderosa pine cone in it. And you can see here there's actually two different colors of epoxy. And I thought, well, I've been scratching my head, what am I going to use these things for? And I just discovered a online program. It's called Meshy. You can either do a text prompt or give it a picture, and it will render a 3D object for you. So I use that, and then in Fusion 360, program my CNC and go and carve it out on that. So that got me started, and because it is the season for us folks to start doing Christmas ornaments. I got it to generate a Santa Claus in a globe fashioned by the old glass globes.
Well, yeah, but did you carve that with your CNC or by hand, or what did you do?
No, that's by my CNC. I actually have it's probably about a 2-minute video. If you're interested in that, I can pop up and show you the machine carving.
Yeah, go for it if you got it right up there.
Okay, I got to hit the share, and there we go. And I got to hit start here. There we go. So it's roughed out first with a 1/4 inch bit, and now this is a tapered ball nose bit. It's very fine. You can see the level of detail you can get. It's a half inch diameter, half millimeter diameter, 1/4 millimeter radius. And the step over I've got set on this is, I think it's 1.4 millimeters. So it makes an awful lot of passes, but that's how you achieve that fine detail. You can see on the back side of it, there's a little bit of carving into the sphere itself.
Where does the Santa pattern come from? Did you create that or find it online or what?
The online AI. Okay, so there's the program I found it's called Meshy, and it'll take a text prompt and create a picture, or you can take a picture and it will create that 3D relief. So that this whole globe was created by AI. So yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Now I just got to stop the share here.
Like, do you have to use the CNC to smooth off the backside where it
actually
touches?
no, like this is because it's so fine, this requires no sanding at all. I'll show you here.
We lost your share. I'm going to bring you back to the spotlight.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see here, like this is absolutely no sanding. There is a bit of a texture. It almost feels like a snowball. If you can see, it does have a few humps and bumps in it, but it's like in here, you can feel the whiskers in his beard and his mustache and all that stuff. And like I say, that bit, as it moves over, only moves over 0.14 millimeters at a time. So it's an extremely fine carving.
So are you
It
going
takes
to paint?
time.
Are you going to sand and paint that, or are you finished with it
Well,
as
I
it
wasn't going to
looks?
sand it, and my wife is the artist, but I approached her and she says no. Like, unfortunately, she has aphasia, and she's not the same as she used to be, and she gracefully declined the painting. So I have some very talented granddaughters. Maybe I can convince them to do some painting. And then, so last but not least, so that you guys don't think that that's all I do is CNC stuff, got back into segmented turning, and I had a commission for a small urn.
Very nice.
And,
Very nice.
Yeah. So this the featuring on this is kind of cool stuff. It's a man-made product. It's I believe it's walnut that's laminated together like a plywood, but the grain is all the same. And each layer is
So it makes rings, I'm seeing.
well, because the each layer is at an angle to the
Right.
to the actual board. I'm not sure how they do that. They put them straight and then cut it at an angle after. But anyway, yeah, it does a pretty neat little design.
Nice stuff.
So,
Mike, how much time, just for perspective, how much time does that CNC project you showed us take? I mean, how much
okay,
of your
so
time?
yep. So this is 65 millimeter diameter, and start to finish, I put a square block in the chuck in my rotary axis, and then do a rounding pass. Then I do with this. I use a 1/4 inch bit for that. And then once it's rounded, then I do the roughing pass you seen on the in the video with the fine bit, and then with the finish. And total, it takes about a 2-hour. It's a 2-hour project.
Now, what does setup take for the, how much time do you have to spend setting it up through all the software processes?
Actually, that's pretty simple. Once you get the 3D, I use STL. It's just basically it's a 3D representation of the object itself, right?
Yep.
And the software is it's very quick. If I already have the STL file, generating the tool paths probably under 5 minutes.
One more question.
Sure.
What kind of investment do you need to have in CNC to make that? Because I'm trying to avoid getting into that rabbit hole.
Oh, don't avoid it. It's like it's opens up so many possibilities.
Yeah, but you can't make any funnels with that.
So what is $1,000 machine? $1,500?
Well, the one I have currently, I made it. It will accept a 5x5 sheet of plywood, so it's a fairly large machine. But I built it myself. Myself and Jeff Hankinson both built these, and I actually helped the local high school. It's called the Print NC.
Yeah.
So part of it is made with parts from a 3D printer, and then the rest is I used 3x2 by 1/4 inch wall steel tubing to build it. Total investment with all the steel, all the parts for my size of machine, I'm going to say less than 3,500, probably closer to $3,000. And Jeff Hankinson, he could probably chime in. He's got a, for somebody that just wants to do just small stuff. Maybe Jeff can chime in here and he maybe have a better idea for the smaller machine, but I suspect it's in the same range, $2,000, something like that. And they're not difficult to make. It's they're all just bolted together. There's very little welding on them. The only welding on mine is the legs that support it. I didn't want to weld on the actual bed to eliminate any warpage. That's all.
Okay.
Now, the one I made probably cost me, because I made mine a couple of years earlier than Mike's, and that probably cost me maybe $1,500 all in. And that's ordering parts. We ordered parts from a particular site in China, recommended by the Print NC fellow. And for people that want to make stuff, it's fun. But I've never drilled and tapped so many holes. Probably 200 M5 holes. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But it's very rigid, and we can do anything with ours. But Mike had to make his bigger than mine, just because that's the way it is.
Now we've talked about this. We've talked about this before, and you have posted some videos of it. But have you got some drawings or something that we could share?
Actually, Jeff probably has it. There's a whole site there where and the plans are free.
Okay.
The plans are totally free. So I don't know, Jeff, have you got that handy?
Well, he's got it on his site, I'm pretty sure.
He's looking now. I can.
Yeah,
see
he's looking. He knows where it is.
But yeah, and it's they're and Jeff and I both use what they call closed loop stepper motors. So the motor gives the feedback, and if for whatever reason, 99.9% of the time it's operator error, you jam something up, it'll trip out.
Yeah.
But with regular stepper motors, you just lose steps, and then your whole, if you could be carving for an hour and have an oops, and now the whole carving is destroyed. Whereas with the closed loop, you can recover from that.
Hey, Mike, you just made a deeper rabbit hole. If we have to build the CNC, I just want to buy one and assemble it, and then.
Well, you can do that, Bowman. There's all kinds of those things out there now.
But
these guys are pioneers, is the thing.
I have a family issue with how much it would cost.
Well, so you're not ready for it yet.
I'm ready, but no, I'm not, because I don't want to take the time for it.
Okay, Jeff has just posted in the chat a link, so you can you guys who want to know about this, you can go there and grab it. And I'm going to turn to Don.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you all over there?
Well, lovely fall day here.
Well, it's a bit dismal here today. Started raining, stopped now, but there we go. That's life over here.
That's England.
It's more about my club today. On Sunday, the club will be entering for the 7th year inter-club competition run by a club in Surrey. And what I want to show you whilst I'm talking is is some pictures of, right, can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah. On Tuesday night, the club members were all asked to bring along items that have been made this year that could be selected to go onto the table, because at this competition there is a inter-club table which you have to put 10 individual pieces on which are judged by a well-known turner over here. It could be Gary Ranch, Les Thorne, Simon Hope, people like that. And this was just one table of samples we've got. As you can see, there's quite a selection of different things there.
Yeah. Very
The
impressive.
second picture, there's that's the second table with the bigger stuff on. There's a big monkey puzzle bowl. There's a Hedo, what's it called? A Hedo Spectrum, whatever. You know, one of
I
those.
don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean that thing, that dish with the ring around it?
This,
the colors?
this one here.
That one, okay.
Yeah, is a streptohedron.
Ah, streptohedron, yeah, Twisted
But
double
it's-
cone, yeah.
Yeah, but there, it goes up through this ball.
Fantastic.
There's a ball goes in there.
Followers of David Spring at Unite.
Yeah, and this one is all bamboo. This was made by a total beginner. He's only been turning for about a year. And then you've got the dishes over here, which are lidded pots with the lattice work that I showed quite a while back. So that's some of the stuff that's going to be put onto our table. Now, out of the last 6 years, or the last 6 competitions, and we've got to take out or add on 2 years for COVID, the club has actually won 4 of those 6 years. So we're hoping to make it 7.
The club is the Forest of Beer Woodturners, yeah?
It's the Forest of Beer Woodturners, yep, yeah. That's right. And the club that runs is the Surrey Woodturners Surrey Association of Woodturners, and they come out of Mitchett up in Surrey near Guildford. So we take all our stuff up there. It's a day show. We have trade stands and everything like that. And then, as I say, it's judged. And anything, once our 2 top turners, or 2 of our top turners, have decided which 10 of these items will be the competition table, all the rest are put onto the club table, and the judges then choose one piece on the table as best in show outside of the competition. And again, we've won that 2 or 3 times. The next table we're going to show you, before I do, is we have inter-club competition each month with beginners, intermediates and advanced. Now the beginners have to be, when they join us, to join the beginners competition, have to be no more than 6 months to a year of turning. And then they come into the competition and we judge it and decide whether they stay there or go up. So the first one I'm going to show you is the beginner's stand. The competition was a forest mushroom or mushroom forest scene. And as you can see, unfortunately, you have to take the photographs because the hole's not that big and you haven't got much room to put everything out or take it and photograph it individually. But as you can see, there's 3 pieces here. There's this one here with somebody's put a piece of a tree trunk in it, and mushrooms and some other vegetation around it. This one is on a log with mushrooms added to it, and also on this one with a bird. There's a small bird here, which isn't very clear, but it was there. So that was the beginners. And then you go on to the intermediates in the advanced. And this is the overall winner. These mushrooms here are 1.5 mil thick on a stem, being put into a log. Unfortunately, I can't get, oh, there's the bar gone. And there's another one here where somebody's taken a log and has added a flower on it and toadstools and everything else. And then you've got this smaller one down here. So that's all the club stuff that's going through at the moment. There's a little mouse here, look. And I thought I'd just show you what we do over here in the club situation.
Hey, Don, the winner, the advanced winner, is that all one piece of wood? The finial, what I would call finial that supports the top, is that all one piece of wood?
That is all one piece of wood.
Fantastic.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's
Very
all
nice.
one piece of wood. Now, David's only been turning for 6 years. He's one of the first people I started teaching, and then he's gone on, so, you know, in leaps and bounds.
What might be that wood done?
It's very difficult, but some of it is yew, some is sycamore, and I believe he's got a bit of ash in there.
Okay.
But I don't know what the log is.
Would those have been turned out of green branches, Don?
No, they were green, but I think he had them for about 2 or 3 years in his garage. So they'd be, I would think they're about 75% dried out.
Yeah, easily. Great stuff.
So that's what the club does. So I'll stop the share.
All right. Thank you
And
very
I've
much,
just got
John.
2 more things to show you.
Okay, go for it.
And Jim's put me to shame, really. What I'm going to show you is just 2 salt and peppers, which I've made in the last 2 days for my grandson, who's now just about to buy his own house, with salt and pepper on the top. And then I made a couple more, which are much taller.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember George Frank's old joke about he claimed he had Sergei Prokofiev's salt and pepper shakers, and he could prove it. You see, there was an S and a P on them. They belonged once to Sergei Prokofiev.
Yeah, these, unfortunately, not having a laser, I haven't been able to put any S or Ps on, because this is a mechanism that, not unlike these others where they come out with the little knob on the top, this actually comes inside with a double spleen connector. You've got one here and one up the top here, so they make quite nice shakers, slightly different.
Nice stuff.
If you can see those as opposed to those.
Right. Good stuff.
So that was me for today, but thank you. Let me show you what our club gets up to.
All right. Thanks very much, Don. I'm going to, let me see, we got 10 minutes on the hour. I'm going to do something we don't usually do. I have a 16-minute video that I posted last week, and it's had 150 views or so. And I know that some of you have seen it, and probably most of you haven't. So I'm going to share it and run it and let it run, and I'll stay on if anybody wants to talk about it after. But it'll run us past the hour. So this is formal bye-bye. And now I'm going to share and play the video. So now I want to draw a box. You know, I can't draw, and I know you guys are all going to tell me you can't draw either. But I can turn. So I can go to the lathe and I can make a shape that I want to make. So in this video, I'd like to share drawing hacks you can use to design, draw, and dimension turned wooden boxes using your turning skills. So here's my basic process. I can, in the first place, turn a block of wood, just a blank on the outside, just try out the shape of a box that I want, and when I get one that I like. And I can saw my model in half and trace around it to make a drawing of the box. Use the drawing and a story stick that I make from the drawing to make the box. And then at the end of the process, I don't want to saw my box in half to see how it came out, but I can make a shadow drawing and get a pretty accurate picture of what I actually made compared to where I started out. So why do I make drawings? Why don't I just go ahead and make the damn box? Well, you turn boxes inside out. You make the inside, and usually actually finish the inside, make sure the fit is right, and make it all fit together before you touch the outside. So by the time you come to make the outside, you've invested considerable time and wood, and you might find you're not left with enough wood from what you've done on the inside to make the outside that you want. The drawing's going to tell me where do I part the lid from the box blank and from any rings that I'm including. It's going to tell me how deep to hollow out the lid. It's going to let me investigate shapes for the outside of the box and the consequences of those on the inside of the box. I can turn the drawing upside down and look at the shape both ways around and see how the different kinds of curves compare. And where's the high point of the curve so I can turn downhill from them. And if I ever think I want to make the box again, I've got dimensions that I can use to follow. I don't have to go in and do any guessing. It's all right in the drawings in my sketchbook. Okay, so I saw a picture of a box kind of like this that I wanted to make. And I had not made one like that before, so I wasn't sure what it was like inside. And you know, most of the work is the inside. The outside is the last thing you do, and it's the quickest. So I made a blank instead. This is just a block of wood. Wood that I wasn't going to turn for anything else because it had a big flaw in it. And then I sawed it in half. I found the center using a center finder. Don't bandsaw it this way, you'll catch the blade. Stand it up, use the fence, bandsaw it straight. Sawed it in half. And now I can, well, first of all, this is a template that stands in for a 3x4 block of wood, and I'm going to use this better pen. I'm going to draw that way, that way, that way, and that way. And I'm going to mark the center so that I can draw a center line. I really want this bottom edge to show up, so let's do it. Okay, so then I went and turned a block of wood and sawed it in half. And you can see that this is the profile. This is just a shape I like. So now I don't know anything about what's going on inside this block of wood, but I can position it here now on my drawing. And it's a bit wider than that, but that doesn't matter either because I could just go to this is where my edge is going to be. And I'm going to have tenons both ends. And now I can draw around the model that I turned just because it looked good to me. I can turn a lot better than I can draw, but then I can use my turning to generate a drawing. So that's the first step. And if I had the block of wood I wanted to use, I would just put it down on my drawing pad and draw around that. In that case, I would eyeball a center line and draw that. I like to use a stick as a straight edge. And then I have to be mindful of the need for tenons. So I'm going to draw tenons there and a tenon there. Then first of all, I'm going to draw the top of the box within that rectangle, like that. Around the bead, around the top. This is the box that I turned. And around there, that's the lid. And then I'm going to draw the bottom of the box. That's there. And around there, there's a little foot. And that's the outside of the bottom. And then inside, there'll be a tenon that fits inside the lid. So now, here's my lid. Here's the belly of the box. Here's the part. And here's the foot. And now I'm going to eyeball roughly 1/4 of an inch for the wall thickness out here. And draw that line there. That's the inside of the lid there. And the outside of the tenon here. So here's the inside of the lid if it was flat. And here's the inside of the lid with a curve that's compatible with the box. And then down here, I need the bottom of the box has a similar thickness of under a quarter, maybe 3/16 of a tenon to there. And then the inside of the box goes from here to maybe here. And so I can use my outside of the box template to draw a plausible curve for the inside of the box. Now I know everything I need to know to make this box. Now for this video, I'm going to color this in with a brush just so I can, this is just a Tombow brush pen and water paints, just so I can be sure what my cross section is and what I'm looking at, and so that you can see what I'm looking at as well. So there's the lid, and here's the box body. I'm not quite sure what the foot's going to look like down there, but I can easily work that out at the end of the turning process. Now, as I look at my drawing, I can see that I want the high point of the lid curve to be up there. That would be there. And similarly, the body curve, and I'm liking that. Okay, story stick. I've made myself a drawing from my turned blank, and it's looking pretty good, and I can see where my key dimensions are. I'm going to make a story stick. It's going to be convenient at the lathe. It's going to give me just the dimensions I need. I can label it and stash it away so I can make the same box again later from it. And at the end of the process, I can get a photograph of the story stick and the half model and whatever box I make out of it. So that'll be fun to have. So first thing I'm going to do is make sure my story stick and the wood between the tenons is clearly marked. And I want that line really clear across there, and I'm not interested in that bit of wood. Second thing I need to know is where's the part between the lid and the body? And that is there, part. And third thing I need to know is how deep am I going to hollow the lid? And that is there. So this is the lid in. And this is the part, lid. And then on the box body, here's the part. Here's where the flange ends, and then the curve comes down to here, and then here's the bead. And now here is the other point I need, which is the knee of that curve, because I'm going to turn from that point down to there, and that point down to there. Similarly with the lid, I'm going to turn from, well, it happens to be the same point as here, so I'm going to put an arrow on it. When I make the lid, and I'm on the outside here from the blank, I'm going to turn from, I'm really going to turn from about the center of that curve. I probably want to have this curve come in a little more, so I'll just mark that there. And then I can record that down here on the foot of my story stick, that this distance here, this is the part for the foot. But I'm mostly going to turn from these thicknesses here, rather than these dimensions here. Anyway, now I can go and make the box. And as you can draw around the block of wood to see what you've got to work with and make your drawing for your turning, you can also use the template to find the block of wood within what you have. This is a block of ash from some other project. It's a piece of a beam or something. It's wider than it is, wider this way than it is this way. And I wanted to make a 3x6 blank out of it, but I have a 3x6 template, and you can see I've worked on this before. I can use my template to find the straight grain section that I want to have out of this ash block, because straight grain works best for these kinds of things where you want to see the grain flow around the piece of wood and fool people maybe as to how it was made. I can draw around this and then bandsaw the blank of wood that I want. I can even fiddle further with the grain of the wood in this plane, if I want to, by working here and here, I'll get a smaller blank, but I can also get it straighten the grain in this plane as well. Drawing the ends that I can saw to, because I really like to work with a blank that's basically square for these kinds of projects. And now between this sawing this face and then sawing this face, I'm going to have a pretty good blank of ash wood out of something that would otherwise be not what I want for the boxes I make. Now, the technique of actually doing the turning is well documented elsewhere on my video channel, and especially on the Lancaster Woodturners Club channel. Once I've made the box, and I like what I've got, I might want to draw it again and make a record. I'm going to see if I can get a good enough shadow here. I really can't. I need a better light than this. Okay, so here's the baffle I'm going to use to get a point source of light. It's the same size as my multi-LED work light, and I'm just going to, with a 1/2-inch hole, and I'm just going to tape it over the light. Now I can directly measure the thickness of the lid piece, and it's very close on, finishes out at 1/7/8 of an inch. So I can pick that up here on my ruler, and it's coming into here, and I'm going to have a little more clearance. I'm going to give it 1 inch there. And draw that horizontal line. That's the lid piece there. The body piece similarly measures from top of the tenon to the bottom of the finished base is 2 inches. And that's from the tenon there, and I'm going to also have some clearance, so that's to about there. And I can draw that line. What's left in here is the blank originally might have been smaller. I need to do 3 and 4 here, and I might have had a couple of pairings away to get to where it ended up. And also there's a part in there. So now I can position, you can see the shadow. I hope you can see the shadow in the video, and I'm going to draw around the lid. And I note the high point of the curve is there, and the bead is there, and this is the line. I'm going to do the very same thing with the base. I'm going to position it there, and just rock it a little bit so that it fits well in the shadow here. All right, now there's my tenon, there's my shoulder, and there's my outside surface down to a bead here. Okay, that looks about right. And now I can detail the box as before, except this time you can take dimensions from the actual box with dial caliper and 6-inch rule. Now this lid, the blank could come over that far, but it actually has a wee little curve in there, which I can draw using my French curve, roughly like that. And this bead actually goes down here like this. And my French curve helped me draw what the top drum is going to look like as well. Now on the bottom, this line here is this line here, and it's about that thick, I can see as I look at it. And yes, the inside bowl goes down to about there, and the outside curve I can actually now improve my own drawing using the French curve. There's the top of the curve. Now I want to come down to here, and there's the foot. And I can confirm that, as I knew before, that's about, that's a 1/2 inch, 3/8 to 1/2 inch into there. So this line here I'd like to have more emphasis on. That's the inside of the box. And then it hollows down to here. And I can draw that curve using the French curve if I want to. Of course, you would do this in lieu of sawing a piece you'd made in half, or a piece you'd bought in half that you wanted to copy, or a piece you'd made and forgotten about, or whatever. You don't want to saw the thing in half. To get a nice drawing, you can get a nice drawing using a French curve and the shadow. And now I can paint that in as I did before, and you'll see what it looks like. So there you go. Okay, to sum it all up, turning practice blanks and sawing them up for drawing builds your turning skills, it rehearses your project, and it prepares you to get a great result from your best wood. Anybody left on here?
Yep.
Yeah. How'd you like that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like
I
it
like it
very
very
much.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
very
constructive.
constructive.
It's very hard to hear when there is an echo.
I'm sorry about the echo. I don't really know what's going on. I'm going to have to reboot my whole setup here.
You're coming through okay, John?
I have too many. I think I'm going to have trouble with the recording as well. I just have too many Apple devices in one space here, and they're each trying to do their job, and there are too many damn things. I tried to mute a big part of it near the end of the video. I think that might have improved it. I don't know.
It made it worse.
You can always watch it if you would like to watch it without the echo. It's available on my channel, and I'm just wondering what any of you guys think of those techniques, and if you have more drawing hacks that we could share.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the way you do it.
Because
it's analog, not some CAD program
Yeah,
on
yeah.
PC, but just
drawing.
It's really nice.
I didn't want to talk to that, but I mean on the video, but that's part of my motive. I could do that on my computer, but then I have to go to my computer and load up software. I really like to get my fingers in it.
How did you place your light when you draw the shadows around it, around the workpiece?
I was in there. I made a plate of wood with a 1/2-inch hole in it and just taped it onto the light. And that gave me a nearly a point source.
You had then.
Yeah, and I raised it up. I had a fairly good distance there. Yeah. And you can wiggle it around and you can distort it in directions if you want to, or say, oh, I like the shape, I want to make it taller. It's a very useful technique.
Did you ever try on the paper spray painting half of it so that it shows on the paper?
Yeah, I used to do stuff like that. That's what you can spray around it, in other words. Use the template, the blank just as to spray paint around.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to cut silkscreen stencils too, which is a lot similar to that, where you're cutting a lacquer film to make an image. And then paper friskets, we did a lot of frisket painting. I guess that's closer to what you mean. I don't see the need here, but you can do that. Sure, absolutely. You can also get the image of a thing like that by putting it down on the paper and dusting it with graphite or something like that. Graphite that you might get from grinding up your pencils. So, or charcoal. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Whoa.